This vehicle may not look intimidating, but without trucks like this one, the Second World War simply could not have been fought. The Ford V3000S was not designed to impress, it was designed to work, to carry weight, to move supplies, and to keep armies alive. Introduced in 1941, the V3000S became one of the most important standard 3-ton trucks used by the German military, produced by Ford Werke in Cologne and later assembled in several occupied territories as the war expanded. Although it carried the Ford name, this was not an American truck in the usual sense. It was engineered specifically for German military requirements, combining American V8 engine philosophy with European production constraints and wartime shortages. The result was a vehicle that was powerful, mechanically simple and rugged, but also thirsty and demanding in terms of fuel. At the heart of the Ford V3000S was a 3.9-liter flathead V8 petrol engine with a displacement of 3,917 cubic centimeters, which equals about 239 cubic inches. This side-valve engine produced approximately 95 horsepower at relatively low engine speeds, but power was not the main focus. What really mattered was torque. The engine delivered roughly 260 to 270 newton-meters of torque, which translates to about 190 to 200 pound-feet. This strong low-end torque allowed the truck to move heavy loads from a standstill, tow artillery pieces or trailers, and keep moving even when fully loaded.
The engine was paired with a 5-speed manual transmission with 1 reverse gear. Power was sent to the rear axle only, as the V3000S was a 4x2 vehicle, not all-wheel drive. On paved roads, this setup worked well, allowing a top speed of around 80 to 85 kilometers per hour, or roughly 50 to 53 miles per hour. For a loaded military truck of this size, that was more than adequate. However, once the truck left the road, the limitations became obvious. Mud, snow, sand, and rough terrain quickly exposed the weakness of rear-wheel drive, especially on the Eastern Front. Fuel consumption was one of the biggest drawbacks of the V3000S. The powerful V8 came at a price. Under normal conditions, the truck consumed around 35 to 40 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers, which equals approximately 6 to 7 miles per gallon in U.S. terms. In a war where fuel shortages were constant, this was a serious logistical issue. Compared to German trucks with inline 6-cylinder engines, the Ford consumed noticeably more fuel, which often restricted its use to main supply routes where refueling was more reliable. The chassis was built around a strong ladder frame designed to handle heavy loads and rough treatment. Both front and rear axles were rigid and suspended on leaf springs. This was not a comfortable setup, but it was durable and easy to repair in field conditions. The braking system consisted of mechanical drum brakes on all wheels, which required regular adjustment and significant pedal effort, especially when the truck was fully loaded. Steering was heavy, particularly at low speeds, and long drives were physically exhausting for drivers. In terms of size, the Ford V3000S was a substantial vehicle. It measured approximately 6.35 meters in length, which is about 20.8 feet. The width was around 2.25 meters, or 7.4 feet, and the height reached roughly 2.7 meters, or 8.9 feet, depending on body configuration. The empty weight was around 2,500 kilograms, equivalent to about 5,510 pounds, while the payload capacity was rated at 3,000 kilograms, or 6,615 pounds. Fully loaded, the gross vehicle weight approached 5,800 kilograms, nearly 12,800 pounds. The electrical system operated on 12 volts, which was fairly standard, but cold weather revealed several weaknesses. In winter conditions, especially in the Soviet Union, starting the V8 engine could be extremely difficult. Thick oil, weak batteries, and carburetor icing caused constant problems. Soldiers often resorted to lighting fires under the engine oil pan to warm it up, a dangerous but widespread practice that shows how harsh real operating conditions were. Because the V3000S struggled off-road, a significant number of trucks were converted into half-tracked vehicles known as Maultier, or mule. In these conversions, the rear wheels were replaced with tracked running gear, dramatically improving traction on mud and snow. Around 14,000 Ford V3000S trucks were converted in this way, proving how valuable the basic chassis was, even when its original configuration was no longer sufficient. Between 1941 and 1945, approximately 25,000 Ford V3000S trucks were produced. They served on nearly every front, from Western Europe to North Africa, from Italy to the vast distances of the Eastern Front. They transported ammunition, fuel, food, troops, wounded soldiers, and equipment. They were not symbols of victory or propaganda icons, but without them, tanks would not move, artillery would not fire, and armies would not survive. Today, surviving examples of the Ford V3000S are rare and highly valued by collectors. They represent a different kind of military engineering, not focused on innovation or elegance, but on endurance, simplicity, and sheer usefulness. This truck did not win battles by itself, but it made every battle possible. And if you enjoy deep, no-nonsense stories like this, where we focus on real machines and real technical details instead of myths, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and write in the comments which vehicle you want to see next. History is not only written by soldiers and generals, but also by the machines that carried the war on their backs.